people whose Jewishness is their whole being. One could argue, for instance, that a Gentile playing Joan Rivers correctly would be doing what is actually called Jewface. Jewface, doesn't feel good to say, is defined as when a non-Jew portrays a Jew with the Jewishness front and center, often with makeup or changing of features, big fake nose, all the New Yorkie or Yiddishy inflection. And in a time when the importance of representation is seen as so essential and so front and center, why does ours constantly get breached, even today, in the thick of it? Because as David Baddiel points out, Jews don't count. I mean, what do you hear all the time? Jews run Hollywood. Jews are rich. Jews are powerful. Are just a few examples of perpetuated anti-Semitic tropes that renders people very righteously unsympathetic towards Jews. And I wish they would realize that that is by design. And also, let me just say, I am not consistent in this argument at all. I'm just talking here. I don't have a...
Shalom, shalom. Giving all praises, honors, and glories unto Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shah Bashim, Makak. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the Church of Great Millstone, and shalom to the sincere and hopeful elect that's prophesying in the true name and the true doctrine about the times we're in headed to, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand, is your fellow brother Kodash Payam. And as you saw, this was the podcast of Sarah Silverman, the actor, and her explaining about what she had said about Jewface, people being, as she said, Gentiles playing Jewface, which is the Yiddish and all that. And then she admits how the so-called Jews, which are Jewish, right? These that owns the Hollywoods, that owns social media, news platforms. You know, Esau, the Edomites, these elites, right? They're the Edomites. You know what I mean? And she had gotten a lot of backlash off of this, but you gotta understand that. What about all these other movies? These biblical movies, these slavery movies? You know, most movies are whitewashed, right? And just like when they played the movie with Yahweh Shah, he was light-skinned, long hair. When they played Noah, he was light-skinned, and all his sons. You know what I mean? Because these people, they know the scriptures, they make movies of it, and they portray as if they're the ones that were given the covenant of the Lord, as if they're the promise that the Lord's coming back for them. And that's negative, right? She had gotten backlash 2007. I believe they fired her from a movie for doing blackface. You know, but my point is that it says that she joking. Sarah Silverman ridiculed for protesting against Jewface in Hollywood despite previously wearing blackface, right? But the real Jews is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native and Seminole Indians, the 12 tribes that's been scattered abroad, the biblical Israelites, you know, which the word Jew came from one of our forefathers, right? Judah. You see, when they call themselves Jewish, it's a suffix meaning to pertain to be, pertaining to be something that you're not, right? Those imposters over there in Israel today, you see? And I know, you know, the scriptures tell you don't judge a man according to his looks, right? Because our people are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. We look different. We got different complexions, you know? as far as different shades of brown. But that's very significant because the scriptures gives you a clear depiction of the complexion of our forefathers, primarily Yahushua, who the world calls JC, right? So this is the book of Exodus, chapter 4, verse 6. It says, and the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom, talking to Moses. So he's telling him, yo, put your hand inside your shirt, around your chest area. It says that he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow, meaning what? The color of his skin was changed. And that's a form of a plague. You had Sarah get plagued with leprosy. You had people with leprosy. That's the lack of pigmentation. Right? These Edomites, that's what they have. They're translucent. That's why you see the blood show forth through their skin. Alright, so it says, and he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. You see, so he wasn't light-skinned. Right? And, I want to get real swiftly an image of it, the lack of pigmentation. They call it vitiligo or whatever. But that's like partial. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Jakes that's like that. That don't mean they're not Jakes, but you got Israelites that may look like heathens, right? But they're not. That's why the scriptures say, we bear witness with their spirit. Let me see if I get that real quick. Because this is spiritual, man. Because we've been scattered. It says Romans 8:6, the Spirit itself bearing witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. There you go. And our people were considered as being Gentiles and heathens because they followed their customs. You see? That's why Paul was speaking about how they are from Abraham, and but they're not of Abraham, something of that nature. But let's get real swiftly the book of Genesis 25 and 25, and the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, right? Which is wasted away as he, because his pigmentation was wasted away, and that was the same curse that was given of Cain. Right? Now let's get the book of Jeremiah chapter 14. Verse 2, Judah mourneth. Judah is our forefathers, right? He mourneth. All the tribes mourned. We're in captivity. But these elites, they're not mourning. They're rich. They were given the fatness of the earth. As a matter of fact, before I read this, before I continue reading Jeremiah, to prove my point, in the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24, states what? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Right? Who's the wicked? Who's ruling right now? The gold, the oil. Who the ones that went around and stole lands, raped, robbed, and murdered people? Right? These elites, man. These banking families, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, etc. So it says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right? So he covered the faces of the judges thereof. And the judges is referring to as our forefathers, man. You know, you got something called iconoclasm. What is iconoclasm? The action of attacking or assertively rejecting cherished beliefs and institutions or established values and practices. And they show you that you read that in the book of Maccabees with Antiochus, right? He Hellenized our people. Our people became Hellenized. You know, he was killing them if they kept their laws, statutes, and commandments. You know, so that's why the scriptures say they made a covenant with the heathen. Right? Iconoclasm. They whitewashed these images, these depictions over there, even in the Russian icons, because our people ruled over there, man. The rejection or destruction of religious images as heretical, the doctrine of iconoclasts. Alright, so you see that. You even see that with these statues they made, these Roman statues of David naked and shit. You know? Or what's those depictions of Leonardo? Anyway, so let's get back to Jeremiah 14:2 real quick. Judah mourneth, and our people are mourning, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. So we came from the soil, man. When you look at the soil, you got different shades of soil. You know what I mean? And real quick, let's get that word in the etymology. Hellenism, idiom or expression peculiar to Greek. In sense, culture and ideals. In ancient Greek, right, their ideals was forced upon our people. That's why you got our people in these coliseums now, right? In these gyms, these athletes, you know? They're the football with these tights. See their shit all out, right? That all came from the bread and circus in Rome. You know? Those were all Roman Greek games. And then you had you also had these every 4 years, I believe in the book of Maccabees it tells you how they had these Olympic type games. Right? So there's nothing new under the sun. And that proves who the Israelites to this day. Process of elimination, man. So now let's get the book. Matter of fact, before I get the book of let's get that. Book of Revelation chapter 1 verse 13. This is a depiction of Yahushua. It says, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed. First it describes his clothes, what he was wearing, right? Clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with the golden girdle, you know, around his waist, right? So now you know what he was wearing. His head and his hairs were white like wool, meaning his head on top of his head, right? And his beard. It describes not only the color, but also the texture. White like wool. Not like anything else, but white like wool. So you got a lot of Christians that will say, oh, well, you know, color doesn't matter, you know what I mean? In a sense, yeah, they right. But if that's the case, then why the fuck are people still promoting that Caesar Borgia picture? That fucking hippie, right? A white man with long stringy hair. Why are you promoting that if color doesn't matter? You know what I'm saying? These people are hypocrites. As white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet. And Yahushua used to drink, man. You get angry, you know. But it says, and his feet like unto fine brass, right? Brass, you know, copper, right? As if it burned, as if they burned in a furnace. and his voice as the sound of many waters. So he was like as a fine brass, as if it burnt in a furnace. Meaning what? He was dark skinned, straight up, and his voice as the sound of many waters. He had a deep voice. He spoke to thousands of people. What do you think? He was just walking around whispering? When there's thousands of people, there was people that had to climb trees just to see him. Do you think he was just whispering? Come on, man. Yahweh Shah wasn't solved. You know, so these, hey, and the scriptures say they make a diligent search. So when they make movies, slavery movies and biblical movies, a lot of things, they look into the scriptures for depictions, right? Even these Roman movies, Alexander, even Vikings, things like that, they go to history, you know? But they always got to change the color. Why is that? You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying color completely matters, but if our forefathers was described as being a certain skin tone, then why are you switching them up? You know what I'm saying? This is the book of Galatians chapter 3 verse 28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Hamashiach Yahushua, right? So that's talking about the Jews knowing that they were Jews, knowing that they were Israelites, growing up into the customs, learning the scriptures, learning, you know? It says nor Greek. Why? Because our people were praying unto Greek gods. You could go into the book of Acts, it tells you that. You know, Greek philosophies. You know, you had some Greek philosophers. They were actually Jakes. They looked light-skinned, but they were Jakes. Look at Cornelius in the Italian band. He was a Jake. You know? But the Greek is talking about the Gentiles. Right? Those that were into those philosophies, into those customs, because they could still come back and repent. That happened now. You know, people in the world, in this philosophy, that philosophy. But when the Lord calls them, they hear the truth and the true name and the true doctrine. They be converted and pray, repent, rehearse the righteous acts. Yo, they now an Israelite. The Lord cleaned them up. Because what? The scriptures say that the name is dreadful among the heathen. So why would the Lord say, no, why would the Lord have Paul make that statement? Scriptures don't contradict itself. And if ye be a Mashiach, then are ye Abraham's seed, and here is according to the promise. There you go. Right? So this is Joel 3 and 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. And who was the ones from process of elimination was sold, you know, and went through those trials and tribulations unto King Antiochus, the Ptolemy dynasty, when Alexander died, the Seleucid dynasty, you know, the with the Caesars in Rome, right? Who went through those captivities, man? You know? This is why they even took out the Apocrypha as well. Right? Because the scriptures say what? Apocrypha. And even go to the word, you know, the Greek, meaning I believe Hellenized. So this is the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 3 verse 48. It says, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likeness of their images. I'm going to read that again. 1 Maccabees chapter 3 verse 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likeness of their images. There you go. That's straight to the point, cut and dry. You can't go around that. And that's actual history of what they did. They even destroyed our temples and everything. Menorahs, they took the gold, the trumpets, the everything, man. You know? Now are there Jakes over there in Israel now? Yeah. Because we're mixed. That's why you can't fully go to complexion, to how somebody looks to determine whether they're Israelite or not. But in a sense, complexion does matter. You know what I'm saying? Because if it didn't, why would they do all that? You know, why would the scriptures describe, and there's many other scriptures, you know, but it shows that there is significance in it. Because it allows you to determine, all right, this nation went through this nation went through that. Even our customs. You know, the northern tribes used to wear, the natives, the Tainos. You know, we look light-skinned, but we don't look like East. We don't, you know what I'm saying? It's the spirit, man. Anyway, so with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. Till next time, Shalom.